talking specifically to people that want to work in healthcare. And I get this question a lot in my DMs is, hey, can I work in radiology, specifically any part of medical imaging, and be an introvert? Great question. I got the answers all for you. You come to the right place. We're going to keep this conversation rolling because I know how important it is for you all to want to go to school, get a career that you enjoy, that makes you money, that gives you flexibility. All those things are important. And where you find that, in my opinion, is in healthcare, specifically radiology. You have so many options in healthcare, but radiology technology is what I've been doing for the last 20 plus years. And I'm gonna tell you, it's afforded me so many opportunities for flexibility, ability to take care of myself, to travel, to be able to have options, which I'm here to tell you all the positive and a little bit about some of the cons as well when it comes to working in medical imaging. So if you guys are excited about this, let me know. I'm going to start a poll because the topic of this conversation is to talk to introverts. So are you an introvert? I am going to do this poll and I need your help because I'm going to need you to answer it for me. Here's that poll. We're going to start it here. You guys jump in, get going. Let me know in the poll there. I'm trying to shrink it so it doesn't take over everything because your friend here is hungry. I actually stopped at Zaxby's, got their new sensation salad, and I got their new lemonade. So if you are doing lunch right now, which I don't know where you are, but if you're doing lunch, join me in this discussion. Let's get into it. I hope you get comfy, get your questions going. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. So we got some introverts in here. Let me know in the chat what questions you may have about medical imaging because I'm going to just talk about what I've been asked when it comes to can an introvert work in healthcare, specifically radiology. So what we're going to talk about today is the answer to that question and some of the things you may want to think about as an introvert before entering healthcare, period. But specifically, how different medical imaging and radiology is when it comes to working in our field as an introvert. It's not like many other healthcare jobs. That's what makes us so niche and so special, is that we do deal with patients, but we don't deal with patients. Like, does that even make sense? We do deal with patients, but the amount of time we have to deal with our patients is so different. Hello, thank you for coming back. Sorry about the sound. So that's what we're going to talk about. We have over 11 modalities. So what you want to do before entering into the field of radiology as an introvert is find out really like what's your level of being an introvert. Some people, and I could take people some days and then some days not. Some people, I don't want to. So your modality is going to be dependent on that. And like I said, we have over 11 modalities in medical imaging. You're kind of afraid of crowd, don't know why. That's okay. Some days I do not like, I'm not a big crowd person myself, but look, give me a good concert, I'm going. But I'm not a huge crowd person. I pick and choose. Some people I have in my family that just got to be around crowds all the time. I grew up in a really big family. I was always around people. And I think that's why I really, really don't like being in big groups of people. So whatever your reason, it's okay. That's why in radiology, medical imaging, we have so many options. You guys share this live out. Let's share this with more introverts and those who may know introverts, because I'm going to really be talking and setting the stage for you here. So this is why I feel like introverts thrive in medical imaging. Medical imaging, you get that one-on-one patient kind of thing going on. I love it because I've worked in X-ray, CT, MRI, education, research. Yes, we do research, imaging, and it's so different in each one of those. So you're going to have options. You don't have to really do the big group thing. Like, you don't always have to be like nurses have nurses stations, respiratory therapists, they're all kind of usually clumped together, but then they can go off on their own. With us in medical imaging, you don't always have the big group team settings. You may have one or two people, maybe three or four, that are in your department. It's not a whole bunch of people in the department because most people are out of the department, either in the OR, working in the OR. So like I say, there are so many different directions you can go, but your patients are usually one at a time. You are not doing 5 different patients at one time or having to juggle multiple people. You have one patient at one time in most modalities, and it's going to be different. If you work in radiation therapy, you're treating the disease. You're radiating the patient, their disease. You're trying to reduce the tumor, shrink the cancer, whatever it is. you're only dealing with one patient, and usually you have that same patient forever how long the oncologist and medical dosimetrist prescribes their radiation treatment. Isn't that cool? Like, you've got that patient for that period of time. That is so cool. So one-on-one MRI, you scan one patient at a time, unless you're scanning remote. Now, remote MRI technologists, it's not a whole lot of jobs out there for it, but there are jobs out there and they're growing. But you don't have to deal with patients at all. But you do have to manage multiple scanners at one time. So that is huge. Wow, the poll is going crazy. The poll is neck and neck. At first, it was more dominant introverts in this conversation. Now it's 53% yes. Oh, 50-50. We just hit 50-50. You guys are enjoying that chat. Let me enjoying that poll. If I've been wanting to become a radiology technologist for years now, and I'm really looking forward for moving forward with it. It just sucks because there's no evening classes near me. I did a shorts video on that. I'm going to talk on that really briefly because thank you for coming in the chat and sharing that. But today's topic is about introverts and if they should enter into our field, and if they should, how should they strategically do it? But I'm going to answer this for Aaliyah because I think this is really important. Evening classes for radiology. So there are some programs out there now that give you the classroom online, but you still, in any healthcare profession, have to do clinical rotations. Those are daytime, and for a reason, because legally, to satisfy educational requirements and to make sure the student is properly being trained, there has to be technologists in a ratio of students on that shift. Night shift, you might have one tech. That's it, all by themselves, sometimes doing multiple modalities. Sometimes they're doing x-ray and CT. So to add a student to that and to train students on the evening is going to be difficult and impossible, and it won't provide the educational structure that is required in order to stay accredited. You must have, if you have 50 students, you have to have like half of that in instructors. That's really important. So hope that helps. Be sure to check out my other videos that will answer that question for you. But in a nutshell, that's why. You have to have the amount of clinical instructors to match that. Evening clinicals do not give you that, and they also don't give you the clinicals that you'll need. You're going to need certain things that's only done in the daytime. They don't do surgery at night. They don't do fluoro cases at night. You need those things to be able to see. You're just going to get kind of trickle in abdominal pain, accidents, those kind of things. So you're not going to be able to finish school, and you're not going to get what you need. So you wouldn't be able to graduate, and it would be a waste of your money. But a school wouldn't stay in business because they couldn't satisfy the curriculum. Hope that helps. So back to the topic, why introverts thrive in medical imaging. The thing about introverts, they like structure. So with our profession, you get structured tasks. Perfect for people who like order. So if you're one of those introverts, that 58% in my poll that like structure, radiology is that for you. Medical imaging is that. Like I just told you about radiation therapy, you have your same patients for 12 to 14 weeks, 20 weeks, however long their prescribed radiation treatment is. And that is huge because, you get to have the same people over and over. Now, when it comes to MRI, you have MRI patients, you have a protocol, especially if you're working like children's. So if you're an introvert and you go into MRI, I would suggest you work in children's. You may say no. I'm going to tell you why you should work in children's. Working in a children's setting, the radiologist prescribe every protocol. Every patient, most of the time, is sedated. I'm telling you. And the parents are not allowed back. The parents are out in the waiting room. It's just the nurses and the doctors with the child, and you doing the scan. Like, zero interaction with patients at all. Nurses put in the IVs, they sedate, they bring them in, put them on a table. You do a little bit of manipulation and get them set up how you want. Patients sleeping, scan them, they're off. That's it. But every scan is going to be different. But it's protocol by a radiologist. So I'm telling you, you just got to know if you're an introvert, which direction to go in. And I'm going to talk about something later on that has zero patient interaction that you can go into and even work remotely in this field. Hang tight to the end because you're going to be floored and you're going to enjoy it too. And the good thing for introverts, sometimes you like quiet. Working in certain modalities like CT, MR, radiation therapy, nuke med, they're quieter. They're not loud, and it's just not. X-ray can be a little more people-driven, fast-paced. CT can be more people-driven, fast-paced, one after another, one after another, kind of like a going just really, really fast. But MR, radiation therapy, MR to a degree, not all MRI, because you can be hustling with MRI too. But radiation therapy, nuke med, PET, they're kind of a little slower paced. Does working in CT ever get lonely? You don't have time to get lonely in CT. You do not have time to get lonely in CT. One thing about CT, you can do a scan in 30 seconds. And imagine if you're doing all those fast-paced scans. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness. Yes, I am King Six. Yeah, it's fast-paced. So the other thing we talked about, you also work in small groups. Introverts love that. And you just don't have to perform socially working in medical imaging for the most part, depending on your modality. So some of us only sometimes usually get a few words in with a patient, depending on what modality you're working in. So few things that little myths here that we're going to burst. Myths, introverts can't handle patient care. That's not true. Introverts often give the calmest care. So don't think you're out of healthcare or working in medical imaging or radiology because you're an introvert. Many times you are really key to keeping a patient calm, especially MRI or when they're coming in for CT and they're scared of what this treatment is going to do or diagnosis. You need to be loud and bubbly. Chicken Biscuit says, I always bring extra paper clips in my business attire for CTs. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Chicken Biscuits. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much for the $5. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to pin that, to pin you up there. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That is very humbling. I appreciate that. That means you like this content. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you guys. Oh my goodness. I appreciate that. It helps. I'm trying to give really good non-Googleable content to you all, and chicken biscuits just helped me to see that evidently that's what I'm doing here. So I'm not even eating my lunch, which I need to. So Nutmega 9346 says, would you say working as a rad tech now can lead to a long and secure career? I'm going to say nothing is secure. I'm going to say that. Let me just say that first, because we just don't know from day to day what's going to happen. But this is what I do feel. I have been doing this for over 20 years. I have been able to pivot and move in different directions in this profession. I've never been without a job. I have gotten schedules I didn't like, yeah, sometimes. And then I've gotten schedules I do like. So, it kind of depends. So, thank you so much again. Oh my goodness, thank you. You are so kind. I really, really appreciate this. $5 chicken on biscuits. You are the best. Top fan. I'm going to figure out how to do that. Make you a top fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really am. I may not come on live a lot, but when I come live, I want to try to give you guys what I've learned, mistakes I've made, things, especially if you're trying to get into this profession. Things are getting harder for people to get an education that they can afford, just to be able to put food on the table, just to be able to, pay for things. Like, I just don't understand it. So I am trying to give tips that hopefully can help you be able to make a living, pay for what you need to pay for. If your kids need gymnastics, I hope this information really helps, because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm not good enough to get into this program in healthcare, but you are. Anybody is. So don't let people say, well, if you don't like people, you can't work in healthcare. It's a lot of people work in healthcare don't like people. You just figure out where in healthcare works best for you, not what works best for them. So just know that you can be the calming mechanism for patients because of being an introvert. You need to be loud and bubbly to help people. No, you do not. I'm gonna tell you, most people get annoyed by that. Most patients get really annoyed because they're not feeling good. So I'm telling you, people get annoyed when you got people that are just like, hey, I used to work with a girl like that. And she's super bubbly, super sweet. But when people don't feel good, they do not want you. Most people, some people love it, but I find most people do not want Jolly Julie in there. It annoys them to no end, and they become grumpier, and meaner to everybody that's involved. So you being an introvert, actually, more patients probably are like you. Because you'll make them feel safe and not overwhelmed. People don't realize when people aren't feeling good or they're anxious, you coming in there high energy can be a lot. Can be a lot. So introverts really thrive in this way, especially dealing with sick people. Every job in healthcare is hectic. That is not true. That is not true. Now, I have worked in some hectic situations in MR, CT, X-ray, memo, education. Yeah, I have. But not every job of MRI is hectic. Not every job in CT is hectic, just because the one over there was. So everyone's experience is not your experience, okay? So I hope you understand that. You got pockets of peace. So choose the right modality and you can have pockets of peace. I have a video going viral again for like the second time over on Instagram, and it's here too, 3 top of the less stressful, I think it's with the least burnout. That I have a video on that, and I give 3 modalities. I need to make another one, but I'm telling you, those 3 are the top. And people in the comments are like, she hit the nail on the head. I'm just telling y'all, people are not leaving those modalities for a reason. So when people do come in my comments on those ones that's going viral and they say, hey, Maribel Molina 91. So when people do come on my comments on those videos and say, she's not telling the truth, we are stressed over here in nuclear medicine. And I say, well, why are you still there? If you're so stressed, you go to another modality, but you haven't. You haven't. And it's because they're not stressed. They're not burnt out. So I hope y'all find that helpful. So modality breakdown. We're going to talk about the best fits for introverts. Remember I told you we have over 11 modalities. I'm going to start with, let's see which one I want to start with. Radiologist assistant. What is that? Radiologist assistant is not someone who just cleans up the table, gets you ready for the radiologist. No, this is an advanced practitioner, just like a physician's assistant. Yes, you actually do the procedures that a radiologist could do, but you need years of experience as a radiology technologist first, and you have to go to a radiology technology program. Some people go to ultrasound programs, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, and MRI programs only, and that's what they can only do. In order to be a radiologist assistant, that is one of our top level advanced practitioner positions, and you have to be a radiology technologist first, practicing for 2 years minimum, at a minimum. Because you got to know how to do those exams if you're going to take the place of a doctor. And you make really good money, but you are an advanced level practitioner. You can practice underneath a physician. Our physicians are radiologists. They are the MDs. Radiologist assistants assist the radiologist by doing procedures that take the burden off of the radiologist. Now, you do have to have extensive patient interaction. So this may not be for introverts because you are doing high level procedures, but some of those procedures patients are sedated for. So, but you got to talk to them. You got to consent them. You got to talk to them. People are stressed. They're concerned. So, if you kind of want limited interaction with people, may not be the one for you. Makes good money. It's high level practitioner that may appeal to you, but if you don't like all that interaction, I wouldn't say do it. Then you have to also be in interaction with radiologists who really don't like to always be in interaction with people either. And then you have to also be in interaction with technologists because you're working alongside them doing these procedures. So I'm going to put that one at the bottom, okay? I don't think that one's a good one for introverts. Now, let's talk about nuclear medicine. Nuclear medicine is a modality in our profession that requires you can either go into it directly with a degree and get into a 2-year program, or you can go into radiology technology first and then take a year certificate program to be a nuclear medicine technologist. Now, it is a very good profession, pays well, minimum job turnover because people do not leave that job. They do not leave it for good reason. And this is why I think this is a top runner for introverts, nuclear medicine technologists. Again, you have 2 ways to do it. You can go to radiology technology school, then take a year certificate program and get certified, or you can go, if you have a degree already, go straight into a nuclear medicine program. 2 years and you'll be done. You'll take a certification and begin to work. It also crosses It crosses over with CT, so then you can learn CT because CT and nuclear medicine cross together. You need CT in order to do certain nuclear medicine scans. And it also crosses over with PET, positron emission testing. So you have other two modalities that can cross over. Very calm profession, pays well, long scan time. So they inject radioactive nucleotides into the veins of patients. And those patients go off and eat lunch like I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm going to do that because I got a sensation salad and this bad boy is going to get cold. And this is good. This is really good. So you have downtime. 2 hours later, they come back to you, put them on a scanner. You, of course, monitor them, but you're not really interacting with them. You're watching to see where those nucleotides go. Taking pictures, boom, they're done. Some places have like 6 patients a day at the most. But you can also have fast turnaround, do stress tests. You can work in the cardiology office with that. You can work in the hospital. So it kind of depends. Not all nuclear medicine technology exams take that long. You're going to be doing stress tests all day, which is you're interacting with the patient all day. The cardiologist is there, the patient is there. They're actively doing a scan, and you're there watching everything. So it can depend on which way you choose. Now, we're going to also take, some people wonder, if I go into ultrasound, sonography, is that an introvert's heaven? One-on-one with patients is how that goes usually. No matter if you're doing vascular ultrasound, OB, general, you're dealing with patients. It's you and the patient, but the environment is quiet, dark, soft. You know, it's pretty laid back. It's fast-paced for some places if you work in a hospital especially. But there are different ways you can take that business. Once you get your experience, you can contract yourself out and be a concierge ultrasound technologist, which is you go to people's house or they come to your imaging center and get their own ultrasounds. You control the environment there. Nice. Thank you, Brittany Jones, 2800. This topic, I'm glad you're interested in this topic. Thank you so much. I hope I'm covering great things. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about this topic for introverts entering healthcare, specifically medical imaging. I'm breaking down now the modalities that I feel are perfect for introverts. So we've already covered nuclear medicine, which I think is top on the list. We're covering ultrasound now, and I covered radiologist assistant, which is bottom on the list. Now, ultrasound is great, in my opinion, for nurturing, being gentle with patients, and I think it's kind of up there. So I'm going to put it in the middle for introverts who want to work in medical imaging and healthcare. It's in the middle. It's not a no, but it's in the middle. Now, the next one that I feel is a no-no for ultrasound for introverts. Now, take it or leave it. And I'm a CT technologist, and I've worked in various settings, CT settings where you have a busy. I was doing 60 CTs a day. Yeah, busy. And then I worked in settings where I might do 2 in a whole day. It just depends. So you choose wisely, but CT can be busy sometimes and it cannot be busy sometimes. But I just don't think it's on the list for introverts. I think it falls on the list for no for introverts because it is fast paced. You can do a CT scan in 30 seconds to a minute. Imagine if you were doing that for 8 hours. How many scans do you think you do in 8 hours? Oh my goodness. You have to go give patients contrast, which means you have to take it to them, talk to them, explain to them. They're going to say, they're going to throw up. They're going to have allergic reactions at a higher rate with CT scans than any other modality. The iodine IV contrast, people have more reactions with that than they do with any other dye. So you're going to have a lot more interaction with patients. You're going to be kind of in there observing them, making sure they get sick. They get sick both ways, this way and that way, with the contrast, the oral contrast and the IV contrast. It can come out both ways. If you're an introvert, I'm going to tell you, put this over on a list of not for introverts. I'm just saying. And so we've got 2 and 2. Which one will be the tiebreaker? I'm not going to go through all 11 modalities here. You got to come back for more. I will be doing a series for introverts on which modality I think is the best. So it's going to be coming up very soon. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave in the comments what comments you have. Do you think you would go for any of these modalities? But we're going to do a tiebreaker here. And of course, this is my tiebreaker, so you may have your own. People want to know about MRI. I'm an introvert. Should I become an MRI technologist? Now, people think in MRI, we just sit there with our little Stanley cups and shake our ice. Can y'all hear the ice shaking? That's what people think we do. And listen to elevator music as I drink my Zaxby's new lemonade. Have y'all tried the new lemonade? It's good. It's good. But that's what people think. We just sit there and drink all day and have nothing else to do. They're wrong. Very wrong. Because I worked in MRI where it's kind of slow, steady pace, and super, super fast. And I've been doing it for many years. And I have seen MRI be extremely slow to now running 24 hours at a hospital around the clock, being called in for MRI. We never got called in for MRIs. And the exams are becoming way more intense. You have implants that people come in with, like serious multiple implants. Some people have like 17 things implanted into them, 20 things implanted into them. It is not uncommon for people to have bullets and shrapnel in their body and metal in their eyes that they've never had removed. You got to talk to people in MRI. It's not just walk in, lay on the table, and you sit back and cross your legs and twiddle your thumbs. No. MRI, to me, no matter what setting you're working in, is very, very, very intense and patient-driven. You are constantly watching them because they get sick, too, from the contrast. People get sensory issues inside MRI scanners. They get claustrophobic if they weren't already, but most people come, they are extremely claustrophobic, at least a little bit, and they will crawl out, claw out, kick out, roll out. You really have to be on your P's and Q's and very involved in patients. So where do you think I'm going to put MRI for introverts? Where do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. Should it go over on the yes side for introverts or on the no side for introverts? What do you guys think? While you answer that, somebody said they have metal in their ankle. It depends on the metal. You could have titanium rods in there, and that's totally fine. What do you guys think? Should an introvert do MRI or no? We got ultrasound and nuke med as a yes, and radiologist assistant and CT as a no. So as I wait for the comments in here, I'm going to say, I don't think introverts should do MRI. Just my opinion. I'm going to put it over on a list of no. I just don't think so. Just from the answers I've given you of my opinion, let me know, do you agree? And thank you all for participating in this poll. The poll of introverts won overwhelmingly throughout the 30 minutes we've been talking. Tanya says, yeah. Well, you know what? Excuse me. I'm not going to say a total no. You make the choice, but I'm just here to give you the information from my experience. I just don't think it'd be a good fit for introverts unless you choose the right place. Unless you choose somewhere like a children's hospital that I talked about at the beginning, then I will put MRI on the list for yes for introverts. But we've got 11 modalities for you all to choose from. And the 65% of you that are on here that says, yes, you are an introvert. Thank you for joining this live, and I hope it was helpful to you. And those of you who are not introverts, be sure to share this live with them that you know an introvert. This may be helpful. I think you need to adjust to be successful in patient care. Yeah, but if your personality is what it is, I wouldn't want somebody to try to adjust their personality, because I'm going to tell you, in my little years of living, people don't change most of the time who they are to the core. Our lives are shaped by things. Now, could we fake it and make it? Yeah. But if you are going to be in a profession and spend your hard-earned money to be in it, and education is not cheap, and time, you can never get your time back. I would tell you, if you know good and well That's like, I wouldn't tell somebody who don't want to have kids, you should still have kids. No, you know you don't want kids. Please don't bring no kids into your life. Not that you'll be mean to them, but some people just don't want them. Just let somebody else who really, really wants to invest in them do that. Same with healthcare. If you come into healthcare and you know you do not like dealing with people, you don't want to be around people, don't do it. And if you do it, find something that works best for you in healthcare. Like I know people that really just don't like dealing with people. They work in healthcare administration. They sit in the office. And I promised you at the end of this video, I would tell you what profession I really think is at the top for introverts if they want to enter medical imaging. And I got 15 people on here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you before we end this because I'm at my 30-minute mark. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, that's what I would say. But this is what I think you should be doing in medical imaging if you are a true 100%, not 100, 100% introvert. Have you ever looked at informatics? Used to be informatics was just for nursing. No, we have our own informatics in medical imaging. It's called imaging informatics. And people are out there getting their CIIP certifications. I've got something coming up in 2026 that you all are going to want to keep your finger on the pulse for, because it is going to be a way to learn informatics without getting another degree, because they have bachelor's and master's degrees in informatics. I've got something coming up where you will not need that, and you can only find it here. Stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and if you haven't gotten a copy yet of Rachel the Radiographer, my children's book is attached here under the products link. Be sure to grab a copy of Rachel the Radiographer, the first of many radiology books about medical imaging through a young person's eyes, and donate it to your classroom, a school, a children's hospital, or to your child's library in their home or their classroom. And it has a coloring book as well. It is a STEM program book. It is just educational and amazing, and I'm so proud of it, and I know you guys would love it as well. Salesforce admin, nice. Thank you again for joining, everybody, and until next time, thank you. Please subscribe and check out my other videos and my podcast, A Couple of Rad Techs podcasts.